Welcome to the Movie Expletives. I'm Jeff.
I'm Ron.
You seen any good movies lately, Ron? Oh, wait, no, because you watch fucking Lavalantula.
The movie's awesome, dude.
I've been trying to get you for fucking ever to watch. This is run down the list. Clerks. Big Lebowski. Pulp Fiction. You've seen none of these.
Nope.
What you have seen is Sharktopus, Lavalantula,
and Sharktopus versus Terracuda.
We can't forget Sharktopus versus, the fuck did you even say?
Terracuda. It's half barracuda, half pterodactyl.
You make me die a little inside every time I record this podcast. I just want you to know that. God damn it.
I'm counting down the days until Two Lava, Two Lantula. That's the official title of the sequel.
I like how you're more excited for Two Lava, Two Lantula than you are Batman versus Superman. I just want you to
put it like that. You make me sound like an asshole.
That was the point, and it does. Yeah, you seriously, you can't complain about anything forever.
Dude, Steve Guttenberg, Michael Winslow, and what's the black chick with the real small, kind of shrill voice, and when she gets pissed off, she like yells and screams and makes everyone shit their pants in Police Academy?
No idea who you're talking about.
Did you ever see the first Police Academy?
Yes,
okay.
Like a long ass time ago.
She makes everyone like step backwards into the swimming pool.
I remember Steve Guttenberg and the guy. What's the name of the guy who does all the
Michael Winslow?
Yeah, Michael Winslow.
Yeah,
those are the people I remember.
Dude, in Lavalantula, there's a scene. I guess spoilers.
Spoilers for fucking Lavalantula.
There's a scene.
God damn, you spoil the climactic moment of Lavalantula.
It actually is. Michael Winslow runs out of bullets, but he's still making the machine gun sound noise.
Okay, we'll give them that one.
It was amazing. Like everyone like slowly turns and looks at him, and he's like, "It worked, didn't it?"
Okay, before you go on a Lavalantula spree and just spend the next hour talking about how amazing Lavalantula is. Seriously though, you cannot talk shit on any movie ever, because I'm just going to throw right back in your face how you spent an entire week watching fucking sci-fi 2 a.m. movies. Intentionally.
The best part, there's a cameo from the Sharknado guy. Like Steve Guttenberg runs into him, and he's like, "Oh, thank God, we need your help." And he's like, "I'm sorry, I can't. I'm dealing with sharks right now," and runs off. And runs off screen. Yeah,
you make me so sad inside. You make me so.
You haven't lived, Jeff. You don't have any taste in movies until you've watched fucking Lavalantula.
I've only seen Pulp Fiction and not fucking Lavalantula. I have horrible taste in film.
Or Sharktopus.
We're moving on from this topic. We're going to go to some movie news this week before I strangle Ron to death.
Or before you break my back.
Yeah, that's a good segue. I see what you did there. The first news article was very, very strange, and that was everyone I think heard, other than Harrison Ford, almost killing himself with a plane. He famously, during the episode 7 filming, broke his leg, and I think it delayed filming for like a month or two. Well, apparently in that same instance where he broke his leg, J.J. Abrams broke his back trying to help him.
Yeah, so apparently a hydraulic door on the Millennium Falcon failed. Falls on Harrison Ford, twists his ankle to a 90-degree angle, and according to J.J. Abrams, Harrison Ford is just kind of like, "Yep, in a little bit of pain here. Yep, someone help me. Yes, please." And J.J. Abrams says he's the type of guy that thinks he can help, so he runs in, and he's helping try to lift the door, and he said on the Jon Stewart show, the Daily Show, Jon Stewart, that he felt this little like pop in his back, and he was like, "Oh, that's weird." And didn't think anything of it for a few days. Those doctors like, "Yeah, you broke your back." Like, that's just the strangest reaction to breaking your back is, "Huh. Oh, yeah, that was a little odd."
My first reaction was like, dude, is the fucking Millennium Falcon haunted? Because like the same instance that broke Harrison
What I wanted to know
leg.
is when the fuck did Tom Hardy walk onto set and break someone's back? That's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I'm sure there's Bane videos or memes going up like as we speak.
You nearly adopted the Millennium Falcon. I was born into it.
So what do you do if you're on set and Harrison Ford breaks his leg and J.J. Abrams breaks his back? You just like, everyone back away from the Millennium Falcon. It is angry. Okay, in other miscellaneous movie news, before we go to the full-on superhero movie section, which we need to just make a separate section, because every week we have like 5 or 6 superhero movie news. Because that's like what the internet is now, it's just bitching about superhero movie news.
Pretty much.
But this wasn't superhero related, this was...
That's really the only movies there are hardly anymore.
Blockbuster-wise, for sure. There's like occasionally, like in a Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
That's, up
that
there.
everyone forgets about.
That's up there just because of the director, and... That's the only way they're able to get movies that aren't superhero films as blockbusters anymore, is they have to have a big director with them. But this was a movie that caught my eye scrolling through IGN, and that was Bone Tomahawk, that's a badass fucking title, dude. Bone Tomahawk. And this movie is going to be closing out Fantastic Fest, which is a yearly film festival in Austin, Texas. And this Bone Tomahawk... the first thing that caught my eye was just the cast. The cast is ridiculously good. It's Kurt Russell, Patrick Wilson, who was Night Owl in The Watchmen, if you're not familiar with that name. Richard Jenkins, who, if you Google Richard Jenkins, see his face, you'll immediately recognize him because he's been in a million things. He's just always a character actor for the most part. And one of our favorites, Matthew Fox.
Yes.
Who was Racer X and Speed Racer, who everyone hates but us.
Seriously.
And... not only is this cast amazing, but you go to the tagline, and it's all of these awesome actors in a Western horror film. And what was the plot description?
Existential horror Western.
And read the plot description, Ron.
I never...
second paragraph.
Right here?
Yeah.
Bone Tomahawk stars Russell, Patrick Wilson, Richard Jenkins, Matthew Fox, and revolves around a posse's effort to rescue a woman from a tribe of cannibals.
So you got all those awesome actors in a Western setting killing cannibals. I'm all over this freaking
movie. It's like The Hills Have Eyes with all those people.
Yeah, that movie I'm all over. I love... have you ever noticed that there are no Westerns anymore?
There really
That
are.
whole genre just died.
What was the most recent one that comes to mind is 3:10 to Yuma.
That was what I was going to say. Django Unchained, I guess, is technically a Western, but
I never saw it.
You should. It's technically a Western, but it doesn't really have like a big Western feel. It's Tarantino, so it's it's Tarantino. It's not a Western.
I saw Michelangelo though.
Why do I podcast with you? We need to.
Shame. Shame.
You're goddamn right. Fucking shameful. All right,
I thought you'd like that.
Yeah. It's a little self-depreciating humor, our forte in this show.
That's about all the show is anymore.
Next up, in the miscellaneous movie news category is Lionsgate is in negotiations to make the live-action Naruto movie.
Which I find interesting and kind of have a little bit of high hopes for. I fucking hate Naruto. I'm just gonna put that out there right now. But
you should explain, in case the 3 people listening are big fans. So you don't hate the property, really. You just really dislike the voice and the main character, right? You said everything else you liked about it.
Everything, like if they just took Naruto out of Naruto, that show would be fucking gold. But I just can't stand anything about the character, and his voice is nails on a chalkboard to me.
What was it about his character that like grinded your gears, to borrow from some family?
From what I remember, anyway, because it was so long ago. I mean, it was literally, I watched it from like episode 1 to however long, like half. If their seasons are 26 episodes, I probably watched about half of it, and I just fucking, I don't know. It was like everything that he said and did was just annoying. I don't know. I'd have to watch it.
Was
again.
it okay? Now, was this something to where it seemed like a point of the show was the main character's arc, like where you could see him getting developed over time into something that's not annoying, or was it?
There was no hope for that.
There was no hope for that.
There was
he was
no
just,
hope.
okay. Because I'm talking about how some things do that, where they have kind of like Trigun a little bit. How there's a character development over time.
Yeah. No, they just kind of went straight into him being, I guess it was just like obligatory action hero line, from him, and like it was just, I couldn't stand anything about him. Everyone else in it I was fine with. I mean, the pink-haired girl with being fucking crazy ninja chick, but is always damsel in distress was a bit weird. you'd think she'd be able to kick some ass of anyone that's trying to take her, but whatever.
So would you watch the movie?
I'm definitely going to watch the movie. Either way, and the reason I kind of have big hopes for this is because, kind of like we were talking about, like our hopes for the Warcraft movie, what it can do for video game genre. This is not like, say, Attack on Titan or Cashern. I couldn't think of his name. This is Lionsgate. This is American made. This isn't, a Japanese movie that's going to be subtitled or dubbed or something and thrown over here. This is fucking American made anime movie. So that means if this does well, we could eventually maybe get Cowboy Bebop or eventually Trigun or something like that.
And they were also starting production on the one Scarlett Johansson was attached to. We reported on a long time ago. Do you remember?
Yes.
What was that? Ghost in the Shell? So it seems though like they're kind of like with video game movies, they're starting to creep up. It's just kind of depending on when they drop.
They're out of everything else. They have no other ideas.
And eventually, and it's going to happen because they're already getting there. Once the superhero movie hits the saturation point, I think
we're just a few years away from that bubble bursting, to be honest. Because when you set up a universe, you can't change actors. So when they get to where they need to like reuse Iron Man when Robert Downey Jr.'s contract is up, or Chris Evans' contract is up for Captain America, it's like they're not going to know what to do.
And when you just look at the, they have the little, not memes, but kind of like the charts that block out their schedules coming out for the next like 5-7 years of DC and Marvel, and also
it's a fucking flow chart.
Just
dude.
DC and Marvel is ridiculous, but then you start throwing in the Fox ones, it gets insane
because X-Men and Fantastic Four are they're going to try to create a universe of the two of them crossed over.
Because just even next year you have Suicide Squad, Batman v Superman, Civil War, Deadpool, and a couple other we're probably forgetting because there's so many. So there's
so much shit.
Yeah, it's eventually, even though that's comic book movies have been the hugest thing to hit in a long, long time. They will eventually run their course, and then at that point, I think we eventually will get to the video game kind of little spurt where they go on a 10-year run on, we're making BioShock, we're making Uncharted, we're making all of these.
BioShock would be cool.
Out there,
I couldn't get into the game, but
too busy watching Lavalanche.
No, that one was Sharktopus.
I just can't get into the atmosphere of BioShock, this amazing game, but man, Sharktopus just knows how to grab my attention.
It was fucking boring. Well, watching lava spewing spiders is not boring.
But the first BioShock, I like we're going totally off topic, but the first BioShock is one of those where you have to beat the game and get to the plot points at the end of the game to put the entire game in perspective. Mm-hmm. So that's one you have to finish to fully evaluate. But I can't be, what you should do is,
go straight to Infinite.
Go straight to Infinite since it's a spiritual successor. You don't have to play the first one. Okay. And the gameplay isn't dated because the first BioShock was 2008?
Something like that. It was like one of the earlier 360 games.
When you start comparing the early 360 PS3 games to like what we have now, it's pretty.
They didn't really have a narrative bathing then. Now it's everything is movie like.
Well,
in quality and in story.
Well, you're never going to play. I do need to, since you're never going to finish it, I probably should just show you some of the cutscenes that show you like the plot twist in it, because there's a reason. Like Gore Verbinski, the Pirates of the Caribbean guy, was wanting to make the BioShock movie, and then it just fell through because of the budget for underwater shit. But there's a good thing towards the end of it that kind of puts the whole thing in perspective. But yeah, we've been talking about BioShock for too long. Let's go back to some movie
news. Back to Naruto. What do you think of this? Like, does this get you excited? You've been watching Trigun. I don't think you started Samurai Champloo yet, but
no, that's kind of next on my list. I've been Naruto.
I think this is our gateway right here.
Yeah, I am hopeful. I totally agree with you. I'm really hopeful with this and Ghost in the Shell, whichever one they end up popping out first.
Because this one is going to be more popular with like the younger generation. Ghost in the Shell is going to get people more like, our age.
Yeah, Ghost in the Shell is probably the one that would hook me more, because I do like, my favorite animes are not your Bleach or your Naruto.
Don't you shit on my Bleach.
My favorites are the Trigun's and Cowboy Bebop's, like the more gritty adult themed ones. Those are the ones that have caught my
You
attention.
need to see Big O too.
Yeah, for sure. After you described it to me.
Yeah, and I'm not referring to porn if you don't know what that is.
Oh wait, I don't know if I want to watch it anymore. Okay.
Oh, there's a very big O, Jeff.
Now you had to make it weird. But yeah, I agree with you. I'm hopeful. After we saw the Warcraft set stuff and everyone,
Dude, they're taking that movie really fucking seriously.
yeah, I'm really hoping that hits so we get video games taken seriously. And although you were talking like you want to see like a Cowboy Bebop American movie and like a Trigun one, some of these I think might be kind of hard for them to adapt. I wanted to see how they adapt some of these before I start saying adapt my favorite ones, because I think animes, since it's such a different culture, are really easy to fuck up.
Cowboy Bebop would be a very good one for them to adapt, to be honest, because everyone that has ever had anything to do with it fucking loves it. Like
Cowboy Bebop is even popular to people who don't like anime in general.
Yeah. So, and I mean, you can't get over the concept either. I mean, it's not exactly Firefly-like, but it's Firefly-ish. And I mean, just who doesn't fucking love that concept? So, I mean, the main hero was fucking born on Mars, dude. So yeah,
I mean, let's just hope they don't fuck these up, because
it's just, I feel like that everyone has such reverence and respect for Cowboy Bebop that anyone that did try to adapt it would be taking it very fucking seriously. And I think we'd get some really cool like ship designs and stuff out of it.
Hopefully they would realize,
I think we'd have some pretty good like space like spaceship combat like on planet level and in space like we always saw in the anime. I think we'd get some really cool stuff. Like
Serenity,
yeah, how
they went back and forth and that. Yeah, hopefully they realize that just because they're
like, none of that Wing Commander shit, it would be Firefly-esque.
I mean, we talk about this, but technically they've already kind of done this with Speed Racer. That was an anime that was American made.
Yeah, but unfortunately it didn't end up being our gateway like we wanted to.
Which was odd, because everyone you talk to, for the most part, seems to actually kind of like Speed Racer.
People either love that movie or haven't seen it. Like, yeah. There's no other options. You either love it or you haven't seen it. And I don't understand the people that haven't seen it. It's like, I heard bad things about it. So what? I mean, we had like a 40-minute rant on this one day on one episode, but so the fuck what? Go out and see it for yourself. It's a damn good movie. Yeah. And Matthew Fox.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And for people who were like, it's too far out there, it's like, have you ever seen Speed Racer?
Speed Racer was pretty fucking out there.
Yeah,
he had a fucking like child and a monkey that rode around in the trunk of his car.
Which sounds so creepy when you put it that way,
right? So yeah, I mean, Emil Hirsch, I thought did good. I mean, John Goodman fights a fucking ninja
and whoops his ass. Yes,
like a ninja. Yeah,
I really like that movie. I don't know why. It's a real shame that was, because if that one would have hit box office wise, we would have been seeing these earlier.
And it had the budget. That was the other thing too. I mean, it had an amazing fucking budget. Yeah, the graphics in it are incredible.
Hopefully, the Speed Racer thing doesn't make people that are doing these anime adaptations like this one be hesitant to throw money at them, because Speed Racer is one of the top 10 like biggest commercial failures, which is sad because it was a good movie, at least in my opinion. But yeah, here's to hoping that they, either between this one and Ghost in the Shell, hit with one of them.
Ghost in the Shell, I think. If they're getting ScarJo, then I think they're throwing some money into it.
And they've worked a lot on the
She's coming off her Black Widow fame.
Yeah.
And her character, the Major, would be very Black Widow-esque also. So,
and she's also the point now you were saying, she's pretty up there right now where she doesn't have to be signing up for just anything. So
yeah,
that means their script has had some good work on it. So
I think that one would be fairly easy to adapt. I mean, I know I get none of them would be easy to adapt, but as far as
relatively speaking, you saying they can't adapt Digimon?
Live action Pokemon, son. That's what I want.
Oh God. That's just, well, then it just becomes a total allegory for cockfighting when you see them like fighting and getting bloody and shit.
Imagine like all the picketing then. PETA would be like,
oh man,
all over
I kind of want this to happen now. I want to see the PETA reaction.
I mean, after the response to Golden Compass, I mean, I just can't imagine PETA over Pokemon.
Right.
But so speaking of,
Here we go.
I don't. This is shit.
I was just going to say moving over to the superhero movie section.
Speaking of adaptation,
Good job, Ron. Good job. Brilliant. I'm glad you took the time out of the podcast to come up with that one.
speaking of PETA, that's what I wanted to do. I couldn't think of anything better.
Okay, Ron, we are over in the superhero movie section, and the first one up.
Meanwhile,
Damn it. We were so off the rails tonight.
yeah, I'm fucking exhausted.
The first one was Deadpool is officially getting that trailer released, and we just before we recorded watched which you haven't seen. Go watch it. They made a teaser for the trailer.
Teaser for the trailer. Teaser trailer for the trailer.
And it was incredible. And I think the funniest thing, I don't want to spoil the joke in case you haven't seen it, but they're being self-referential with X-Men Origins horseshit.
See, and before you said that, I was just about to spoil it. I literally was about to do the voice and everything.
Go watch the trailer. We're officially getting the Comic-Con trailer with the finished special effects tomorrow, which I can't wait. Even though I already watched that bootleg one like 12 times, I still want to actually be able to see what's happening.
I sent that teaser trailer for the trailer to my dad. He had no idea what the fuck was going on.
Does he even know who Deadpool is?
I explained a little bit on the phone the other day.
I am stunned that they've been able... I must be all Ryan Reynolds talking them into it. How they're taking Deadpool and they're making it R. That still kind of blows my mind. Like they're
That
having
announcement trailer for that was amazing.
and I think it's coming out. I mean, I'm assuming it's near the summer, so we're having a summer superhero movie where a line in the movie is you look like an avocado who fucked an older avocado. That is amazing.
Thank you. Oh my god. Speaking of avocados, this one, we've reported on this one so much, and each time we report on it, the news is different.
Hey, I'm still trying to figure out how avocado fits into this.
Did I break your brain?
I think you did.
So, Channing Tatum is Gambit now? I was taking a Gambit with the whole avocado thing.
Okay.
There's your segue.
Good job. Okay, here's what happened. Earlier last week, they started reporting that Channing Tatum, he's about to get his deal done for Gambit, and like 2 days later, it's like the sky's falling. Like, oh my god, Channing Tatum, their negotiations are falling apart. He's not going to be Gambit. And like 3 days after that, they're like, oh yeah, he officially signed. It's like, okay, that was a whole lot.
Just matter of factly,
that was a whole lot of freaking drama over nothing. But he is officially Gambit now. Have we talked about this? I think we have.
We have.
Yeah, I am still kind of up in the air. I would like to see a trailer before I really went either way.
I said this the last time I talked about it. It's got two things going for that, and one very big thing going against it. Okay, first, Channing Tatum has said that's his absolute favorite X-Men character. So, like, he really wanted the role, which to me says he probably reads the comics and everything.
Grew up with the cartoon.
He grew up with the cartoon, stuff like that. And two, he kind of looks like him.
He has like those narrow eyes that Gambit always has.
And like just like the shape of his head in general, you imagine like that blue band thing that he always wears down the side of his face and across his
curious
head.
how they'll go about his costume, how far to the comics they want to go, because X-Men has been really weird.
Well, it's like Kevin Smith said recently in a podcast before, like 10 years ago. Like, are you crazy? We can't do like the fucking costume in the comic. We have to do like all black, like they did in the first X-Men movie. Yeah. And then he said, now it's like the fuck. You can't not do the costume from the comic. We've reached that point where they're literally ripping them off the page.
And it's all due to Iron Man. Wouldn't you say that was the first one to kind of take the thing off the page and make it work?
I would agree to that.
Yeah. They talk about in that same podcast, Psylocke.
Yeah.
Is from the page.
Yeah,
directly.
I think their conversation about Psylocke is what sparked that, yeah.
And, yeah, I'm really curious, because And it also kind of depends on what timeline they put him in, because not Days of Future Past, Apocalypse is happening in the 80s, so they can kind of get away with some of their more outlandish costumes because it was the 80s and everyone already had outlandish costumes. So, one of the other things about this, though, is that what they're wanting to do, since Hugh Jackman is leaving, is they have come out and said, Fox, that they want Channing Tatum's Gambit and Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool to be the flagship guys from here on out, because they're going to be the most... Because when you think about it, like, James McAvoy and Fassbender are really, really, really good picks for their roles, but they're not real audience grabbers in the general population like Ryan Reynolds and Channing Tatum are.
Audience grabbers, and while they're amazing actors and they're amazing in those roles, and I'm not shitting on them in any way, at the same time... If I think of Magneto, I think of Ian McKellen. I don't think of Fassbender. You know?
And you could say the same with Patrick Stewart.
And that's the next thing I was going to say was I think Patrick Stewart. And that's the trouble that those two actors are going to have with those roles. Not that it's actually causing them trouble, but that's why those characters are not going to be the flagship characters anymore, because they've already gone Ian McKellen route, and there's no going back from that.
All those
Ian McKellen, just his name makes everything fucking epic.
Since you haven't seen Days of Future Past, having them happening concurrently does help that make you... Because they're jumping back and forth in time, kind of.
I feel like having Fassbender and Ian McKellen as the same character in the same movie is going to be fucking mind-blowing.
I love me some Days of Future Past.
Because I love Fassbender's Magneto, dude. I love McKellen's Magneto, too.
Let's not watch Days of Future Past. Let's not watch X-Men. Let's watch Lava fucking Lantula, you son of a bitch. Okay, I'm gonna blow a gasket by the time this freaking podcast is over.
I mean, I take it there's a soft spot in your heart for Sharktopus because you keep going on about Lava Lantula.
That's just the one that's, I think, the most fun to say.
It really is.
I keep going back to Lava Lantula because, I mean, I'll give them, that's a great fucking
Sharktopus
title.
sounds dirty. It really does. Though, in Sharktopus versus Terracuda, there's a fucking awesome scene.
The brilliant piece in cinema history that is...
This scene is, actually. There's a really fucking awesome scene. Spoilers for Sharktopus versus Terracuda.
Oh no! Stop the recording!
So, Conan O'Brien has a bit, and some people playing volleyball, like their volleyball like bounces towards him, he spills his drink on himself, and he gets up and goes on this rant, and in the background the tentacles from Sharktopus are coming up behind him, and he's just like, what the hell, do you know who I am? I'm Conan O'Brien, and I'll throw your ass off this beach faster than da-da-da, and the tentacle goes up his ass and out of his mouth, and then pops his head off, and it flies over towards the volleyball people, and they don't notice it's his fucking head, and they continue playing volleyball with his head.
I'm glad we decided to stop talking about the movie section and talk about that. So
I just love the blank, dead look on your face that I get when I talk about these movies. I've been talking to him about you through text for like a week, too. So, the thing I was going to say that, you know, goes against Gambit, Channing Tatum being Gambit, is the fact that it's Channing Tatum, and I can't get Magic Mike out of my head. I think of Channing Tatum.
Helped me with Channing Tatum is I was in that kind of mindset of thinking, you know, Dear John and Magic Mike and shit like that. But then, I really liked him in 21 Jump Street, which is another thing you haven't seen.
I don't, it doesn't really appeal to me though, to be honest. I don't know.
It's a good movie? It doesn't appeal to you, I forgot. Sorry.
Not bitter at all.
No, it's from the guys who wrote the Lego movie, man. It's hilarious.
I know, but I don't know.
You are so weird.
It just seems like fucking like a movie that is setting out to be retarded and not take itself seriously. So I can't get into those.
You like Airplane,
but Airplane sets out to be retarded, but does take itself seriously.
I don't even know what to say. I'm just going to finish this conversation with how many times in the last 3 months of just doing this podcast.
There's movies that are Airplane, and then there's movies that are trying to be Airplane but can never reach that point. That is what
I'm just going to say,
this
was another movie we've been doing this podcast for like 3 or 4 months. Every movie has a trailer release, And almost every time you're like, this is gonna fucking suck. And then, like, just in this podcast, you've liked some of them, so just because you don't like the trailer doesn't mean you're not going to like the movie, Ron. There is a difference. God damn it.
I've been burned so many times, Jeff. Oh.
We're so off the rails today.
Well,
so that was some official casting news. We're going to move over to some rumored casting news of superhero films, and the first one up was a pretty genius idea once it got pointed out.
see, this one doesn't suck. I like this one.
I'm going to strangle you by the time we're done with this recording. The first rumor was Hugh Laurie for J. Jonah Jameson in the Spider-Man reboot. Which, hell yeah, that's a good idea.
Damn right it is.
They now we have to start off with saying J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson might be the best adapted character
J.K.
ever.
Simmons is the reason why we just got J.J. in email in Amazing Spider-Man because, yeah, no one can replace him. But Hugh Laurie probably can't replace him, but he can equal him, I think.
I don't know if he can equal him, but it would be a good pick for it.
Yeah.
It's one of those where originally...
I'm curious what direction they're going to take him. It's J.K. Simmons that went completely over the top with. I wonder what direction they're going to take him.
I bet he'll have... Since it's Hugh Laurie, I think they'll have moments of over the top, but he won't be over the top all the time. Because
those dry sarcasm most of the time.
Yeah, those Spider-Man Raimi movies were kind of, in every way, over the top the entire time.
Right.
Like, especially like Willem Dafoe, who is awesome, but he is over the top the entire film, you know?
Yeah.
So...
He's the best part of that movie, too. Him and J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, for sure. Man, you really gotta watch that Whiplash movie. The one that J.K. Simmons got the Oscar for.
Oh, yeah?
He's amazing in that movie.
Is he?
Yeah. And the other I guess it's the last bit of movie news we have.
I'm totally on board with this, too.
Yeah, this was other casting rumors going around, and that is Jenna Malone, who is known famously for being the girlfriend in Donnie Darko, and also she was in the second Hunger Games film, I believe.
Yes, and Sucker Punch. Which
yeah,
everybody fucking hated, and I just hurt her career because I reminded everybody.
Zack Snyder, his wife, and you are the three people in the world who like Sucker Punch.
I love that movie. I don't get it. Even you.
Didn't do it for me.
Jeff.
Don't even fucking give me shit, dude. Don't even start. We have 30 minutes of proof in that I think my taste in film is a little bit better than yours.
It just depends on what side of the fence you're on. I say you have no taste, sir.
If it's between my side of the fence and your Sharktopus side of the fence, I'll stick on my side.
Your grass is greener.
I think it is. But yeah, every fucking news article we have managed to take back to Lavalantula and Sharktopus.
You know, for hating that movie so much and not seeing it like you blame me for all the time, you sure have devoted a lot of time and energy to it.
I'm not trying to give Sharktopus and Lavalantula airtime. I'm trying to give your horrible fucking taste in movies airtime. Okay, back to Jenna Malone, Ron. She is being rumored... Okay, from what I can gather from this article is that she has been confirmed seen on set multiple times, but they've never said who her character is, which leads to, obviously, she is either going to be Barbara Gordon, who is the main rumor right now. The other rumor been thrown around, which I think Barbara Gordon is more likely, but the other one is, you've seen the Dark Knight Returns cartoon.
Yes.
They had a girl Robin.
Yeah.
That's been the other, because they are full 110% Dark Knight Returns in this movie.
They are, but I think for most general audiences that probably don't even know Dark Knight Returns exists, a female Robin's probably too over the top. I think if they think a member of the Bat family that's female, they think Barbara Gordon.
Yeah, I don't know if it's too over the top to have a girl Robin, but I think it is too obscure.
Yeah.
Because, they can get away with making the suit like Dark Knight Returns and using the ideas from it, but the girl Robin is really obscure because, 98% of the movie seeing this movie will have not even heard of Dark Knight Returns or even know it's a thing. So, yeah. But yeah, we were talking earlier before today, awesome choice. She, especially in Hunger Games, she's intimidating in Hunger Games.
Yeah, her character is in both Hunger Games and Sucker Punch, I think, makes her an excellent candidate for Barbara Gordon.
And also, not even just like, because Barbara Gordon is, famously both Batgirl and Oracle, so she needs to be able to.
Doesn't say. Here's the thing: if we're in to basically post Batman for Bruce Wayne, and he's coming back out of retirement, does that mean she's already Oracle?
That's been the thing too. Is we don't know. I
mean, she'd be a great Oracle, just as good as she would Batgirl.
Yeah, I was just about to say, is in a lot of her roles too, she gives off like,
because in Hunger Games, she gives off a pretty good Oracle vibe with her lines.
Yeah, she like subtle, smartest person in the room.
It's only when she picks up the axe, you're like, fuck, that ain't Oracle.
Yeah, they can go either route. I think she's a good choice for either way they wanted to go with it. I kind of am rooting for the Oracle route because I like the idea, like they've shown in the trailer with the Robin costume and the Joker stuff written on it. I like their whole thing they're going with. He has 20 years of Batman history under him, and the Oracle thing is a gigantic part of Batman's history.
Not only that, I've always liked the idea, as much as I love Batman, if you want to try to spin him to be as realistic as possible, because he's the only one you could do that with, as opposed to an alien from a dying world that comes here, gets a suntan and is super powered. I always liked the idea that he can't necessarily do it alone. I like the idea of Oracle. I like the idea of Lucius Fox. All that. Like, I hope we see a Lucius Fox in this, but
at least one what
or
appears
a
to be
reference or something.
I like how we don't know what Robin it is, but it looks like a Robin has been killed. It's cool that they have.
They're going for it, man. They're going balls deep into it.
Yeah, and it is cool. I don't know if you saw it today, but they actually announced that they gave away Bruce's age in the movie, and he is 45. They said, we've given him an exact 20 years of the career where he's earned the right to retire, almost, know. When you want to compare it to...
As opposed to the Nolan movies.
Dark Knight Rises, he's Batman for 9 months, and he's like, I'm going to go retire. Okay, thanks, bye.
It's been real.
No other crime will ever happen in this gigantic-ass city. I'm done.
Yeah.
But speaking of mystery roles, though, we're going to segue over into the TV section, and this was some pretty big mind fucks coming from HBO, but Game of Thrones, always known outside of Sean Bean, which was a long time ago, going for the totally obscure choice for all these characters where you kind of grow into the character and the actor becomes the character in your mind. But this week they were far from that. They announced that Ian McShane has been cast in a mystery role and that Max von Sydow has been cast as the Three-Eyed Raven.
Cannot wait for fucking Ian McShane, dude. That's going to be epic.
And what's kind of cool is Ian McShane is, he's Ian McShane, so it does not matter what character he is. They just announced he's in it, and the whole internet's like, fuck yes, we approve. Also, with Max von Sydow,
such a villain name.
Yeah.
And that's his real fucking name.
His real name is more sinister than his Sith name is going to be in Star Wars. But Max von Sydow is probably his most famous role was the older priest in The Exorcist. He was the villain in Minority Report. He's going to be in Star Wars Episode 7. One of the most well-respected, renowned actors ever, pretty much.
So that means the Three-Eyed Raven is bigger than just dream sequences then.
Yeah.
If they're getting him.
In other Game of Thrones news, it's also looking like they're looking to actually end their show with Season 8, which I don't 100% agree with, because if we've learned anything from Game of Thrones...
30 fucking seasons, Jeff.
First of all, hell yes. I will watch the show forever. But if we've learned anything from continuing Game of Thrones in general, George R.R. Martin originally was going to do 3 books. That turned into 5, which turned into 7, which might come out, 20 years from now. So what I think is going to happen is whatever season they think they're going to end with, it's going to take at least 1, maybe 2 more.
Yeah.
Because they have a shit ton of stuff to wrap up in that show.
They only do 10 episodes per season. Just call it season 10. Just do 100 episodes and be done.
And I'd still want more.
I'd still want more, but at least we got 100.
That show, man. And what's crazy is they're talking the end. A lot of aspects of that show, we won't go into spoilers because we're not doing commentary or anything, but they barely scratched the surface of a lot of what they're doing just this season.
Which brings me to a point. There's just so much entrenched into the Game of Thrones world what do you think could happen with like the most recent example? Breaking Bad ended. It was the best way ever to end it, the best time to end it, but people wanted so much more. We got Better Call Saul. Is there any chance that we could get a show that was, say, just about Castle Black or some kind of spinoff?
One of the things they've been talking about, and it was actually brought up,
like a Torchwood version of just like Castle Black.
I don't even know if they will. Okay, we'll back up a little bit. In the same article, it was reported that HBO president Michael Lombardo was actually questioned about doing a prequel series because I don't know if you're familiar with this, but Martin has actually done additional novels and kind of short stories of some of the backstories and stuff. Their names escape me, but if you Google him, you can find some of his other work within the Game of Thrones universe. But they've been talked to about doing these prequels. That's been kind of the main thing. Is you bring out Better Call Saul, how it's a prequel, how Game of Thrones has such a rich mythology behind it. Like they don't even have to do a prequel as close to the time span as like Saul is to Breaking Bad. They can go like thousands of years before Game of Thrones, and they can do anything. It's so rich in their mythology of what they made with that show and what he made with those books that, I'm open for anything they do with that property. And it's looking like the HBO president is too, because he said, Benioff and Weiss, who are the showrunners for the Game of Thrones show, anything they want to do, he's pretty much giving them free reign. Mm-hmm. He has said, they can keep the show on for 30 years if they want to, because they make freaking bank for HBO.
Yeah, they do. That's why I don't think HBO can just let go of it whenever it's done.
What I'm worried about, though, is let's say they do 9 or 10 seasons and Benioff and Weiss are burned out at that point. I don't know if I want to see it done by anyone else because they have...
Depends on the show. Depends on the spinoff and the tone of it.
I don't know, because what they've done with that show, this has been the first property I've ever seen where I hear a decent portion of the people who have both watched all of the show and actually read all of the books say that the show becomes better. Mm-hmm. Because
what I'm thinking of, though, is also depending on the type of show that you spin off of it, even if it's a different showrunner. Say they do 8 seasons, those writers have 80 episodes worth of scripts and finished product to look at, to mimic if they want to. And then kind of put their own take and make the spin-off show its unique self, but still Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
I mean, you wanted me to be fucking optimistic, Jeff. I'm trying my damnedest
I appreciate it, Ron. I appreciate it.
But I just think that by then, even if it is different people and they are burned out, I still think there is a pretty good chance that it could still feel like Game of Thrones, yet be its own unique thing.
It's just tough when you start talking shows that are...
I was gonna say, look how far out we're fucking reaching right now. I mean, we're making shit up as we go at this point.
What's tough is when you're talking shows and spin-off of shows that are the Breaking Bads and Game of Thrones in the world, which are, when they are on, they are the best show on TV.
Yes.
That how would you have felt if they were announcing not Game of Thrones, Better Call Saul, but without everyone associated with the writing, like no Vince Gilligan, none of those writers back? Wouldn't you have been a little nervous about it?
Oh yeah,
yeah. But yeah, I agree. What it actually, you never know. It could work in its favor, like you said, getting fresh eyes on it.
And just because it's not the same showrunners, if that happens, if any of this fucking happens in this hypothetical situation we've been going on about, just because it's not the same showrunners doesn't mean it's not someone from the writing room as showrunner.
That's true. Like with Daredevil, they promoted some of the writers up to showrunner. Yeah.
So I mean, I think HBO's not going to be able to let go of it when that time comes, and just because Game of Thrones ends doesn't mean we won't get something. I would love to see more of Castle Black.
Kind of. Okay, here's my question. You say you want to see a Castle Black prequel, I'm assuming. How far back in the timeline do you want it to be before Game of Thrones happens? Like, do you want really old? Like, you're talking 1,000 years before Game of Thrones happens?
I don't know. I think one thing I've always been interested in is, where we are right now in Game of Thrones, the White Walkers are returning.
Spoilers.
Oh, come on. First episode, dude. But that's where we are now. So what about the
other... the first 30 seconds of Game of Thrones, how dare you.
But what about the first time or the most recent time before that or whatever, when winter came and it brought the White Walkers. Fucking Walking Dead it,
Fear of the Game of Thrones.
Yes.
But the main point is whatever the fuck they do with the Game of Thrones.
Fucking Dragon Glass. Give me that. Give me the backstory on that.
I think the main point is whatever they do, we will be watching it religiously because we are. How many freaking commentaries we do of Game of Thrones this year? Like 3, something like that.
Of like our 4 or 5 commentaries we've ever done.
They've been like majority Game of Thrones related. Yeah.
Our ramble tracks. We should start calling it by its name so people know what we're talking about. The 2 people that listen know what we're talking about. Us. No, Shepard's listening. He's right there. Oh, he was. He even gave up on it.
Yeah, even your dog knows we suck. In other HBO news, they actually released for a critic screening a full trailer for Westworld, which is a show HBO is developing that is kind of a reboot, however you want to call it, of an old Michael Crichton written and directed film. And do you want to run down kind of like the plot of this?
Well, since I'm not the one that read the article, it means I have to find it.
From what I gathered, you made a funny callback how it's kind of Five Nights at Freddy's, but it totally is.
It's totally fucking Five Nights at Freddy's.
Even though technically Five Nights at Freddy's is totally this.
Five Nights at Freddy's meets the Wild Wild West.
So, I believe the idea is that it's set in the future, and rich people can pay to go to this kind of amusement park, which is Western themed, and it has robotic machines going on that are, what are they? I forget exactly what they're replicating, but it's kind of like a Western simulator for rich people in the future.
See, this fuck you, IGN.
Yeah, IGN's worthless.
This article is just going through the 60 seconds of footage that Nolan released. Sorry to interrupt you, but the only thing that I'm really finding in IGN's shitty-ass article is it's basically more or less by Nolan or Nolan's on board somehow. And in the images that were released, you get Anthony Hopkins, James Marsden, Thandie Newton, Jeffrey Wright, and Rachel Wood. Rachel Wood. So, I don't even know who she is, but Anthony Hopkins, Marsden definitely grabbed my attention.
So they're in this amusement park type thing, and of course the robots go insane and start murdering people. And I'm watching it once you just say murdering robots.
Yes,
doesn't take much at that point. But yeah, Jonathan Nolan, Christopher Nolan's brother, is actually the creator of this show. He's famously known for helping him in the majority of the Nolan movies. He helped write Dark Knight, The Prestige. I don't know if you knew this. Memento is actually based on a short story he wrote. So Christopher Nolan actually adapted his brother's short story. So he's the kind of the showrunner of it, and J.J. Abrams has actually been announced as one of the exec producers. So it has some good people behind it.
Here's Ed Harris, apparently.
Yeah, Ed Harris also. Good cast. It's going to have a good budget behind it. It's HBO. They don't put out shit products.
Oh, dude.
Is that the guy from the Hunger Games?
Yeah.
On his name.
Yeah, whatever it is. Let me just click this and it'll tell me. But yeah, no. Jeffrey Wright. Yeah, I just wasn't familiar with his name. But yeah, I know. Well, I guess Jeffrey Wright is his Twitter handle, so.
Hey, we're not Sherlock Holmes, man. I don't know what people are expecting from us.
I'm not no Benedict Cumberbatch. But yeah, no. Fucking Five Nights at Freddy's meets Wild Wild West with Anthony Hopkins, Ed Harris, and Cyclops.
And we're on record as decent Michael Crichton fans.
Yeah,
especially Jurassic Park. You said you're a big fan of 13th Warrior, I believe, which was another one of his works. So yeah, totally on board with this. Plus, like I said, HBO typically does not put out shit products.
Yeah, no,
they're all about whatever
they may put out something you're not necessarily interested in, but anyone who watches something they're not interested in will tell you it's very well done.
Yeah, it's not nothing they do is bad. It's just not your thing.
And even if it's an actor you've never heard of, they don't hire bad actors.
No, I mean, shit. The kids in Game of Thrones are better than the actors. Adult-wise,
say La Valantula.
You couldn't help yourselves. We almost made it through one segment. Coming up in the rest of the TV news is we got some Jessica Jones little tidbits, and Jessica Jones.
Yes.
For those of you who are unfamiliar, I don't know how you would be if you were actually listening to this show, but Jessica Jones is the next Netflix Marvel show.
Should be sometime around October-ish. As they said, they're going to release one of their shows every 6 months, and we were in April 10th, I believe, was Daredevil, so that would mean sometime around my birthday.
Hooray!
We should be getting more David Tennant.
Yeah, that is the big draw for this, for me at least. Is that
no offense to the girl from Breaking Bad, Jesse's girlfriend.
Yeah, she's awesome, but she's not David Tennant.
Jesse's girl.
Damn it.
Netflix wish they had Jesse's girl, and they got her.
I can't give you shit for that one. That was good.
So, no offense to her. I'm sure she'll be great as Jessica Jones, but fucking David Tennant
as a bad guy
in an R-rated MCU product.
He's playing Kilgrave, the Purple Man. That is, they're gonna call him Kilgrave because that's an awesome name, and the Purple Man is a horrible name that only works on the comic page. But I'm sure what they'll do is they'll just have purple ties the whole time, and that'll be kind of the callback to it.
It'll be the Doctor, but purple.
Yeah, well, dude.
Evil Purple Doctor.
I would watch Evil Purple Doctor. Yeah, but the
his purple box.
The showrunner for Jessica Jones and also Jeff Loeb, who is the head of Marvel Television, and he said that David Tennant's villain Kilgrave in this is to play as big of a role in Jessica Jones as the Kingpin did in Daredevil.
Fuck yes.
Which, if you're telling me, we're getting,
there was a couple episodes of Daredevil that was like Kingpin only.
Where Daredevil was in it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna get full-on David Tennant dedicated villain episodes of a show that's rated R. I cannot freaking wait, dude.
This shit needs to come out now.
Yes.
It really does.
This is going to be one, just like I did with Daredevil. Like, it's going to be watched by the first weekend.
Yes.
I can't help but
and then it'll be 6 months till their next big release.
Yeah, then, I think it's Luke Cage, which was actually going to be in this first.
Yeah?
Yeah. Because the main thing with Jessica Jones is her and Luke Cage. The first comic that came out with Jessica Jones, I believe Luke Cage was the main character in it, so that they're kind of following that series fairly closely. Yeah. Or David Tennant. Have we seen him play a villain at all before?
Other than Harry Potter, not really.
And he was in that for barely at all. So
yeah,
David Tennant, man.
He did like the weird Miley Cyrus tongue thing the whole time too. Basically, his villain role in Harry Potter is his impression of Miley Cyrus.
Makes the movie sound so much more interesting than it actually was.
So, yeah, dude, no, totally on board. I don't give a shit.
We need to know.
I just want to know I don't know anything about Kilgrave, so I don't know what David Tennant is going to be like. Is he going to be more Grace Point than Doctor?
He's everything I've read of him, which isn't much.
Or Broadchurch, or however you want to look at it. He was in both as the same character.
Yeah. Which only David Tennant. Which
is why I don't understand when they wanted to Americanize Luther. They're like, no, we can't use Idris Elba. He was in the original. David Tennant was in the fucking original for Broadchurch.
Probably.
And then the show fell apart because they couldn't do it with that Idris Elba.
Is that the stupidest thing you ever heard? Like, Idris Elba, one of the best actors on the planet, who you've seen can do an American accent because he's in the fucking Thor movies.
Well, not just that, Pacific Rim.
Yeah, Pacific Rim. Yeah, it's just fucking stupid. I'm glad.
In fact, when I finally start Luther, which will probably be pretty soon, it's gonna take some getting used to. I think him having an accent.
Which the stupidest damn thing anyway is just because they have British accents, they're talking in English. You can still watch the show. How many freaking Americans watch Doctor Who?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't understand.
I don't get it.
But I just fucking. We could do a 30-minute tangent on that idiotic thing. But we've got one more bit of TV news, and that is Walking Dead related, which is the first time we talked about Walking Dead in quite a while. I think
it is.
Other than the Comic-Con.
It's the first anything we've heard out of Walking Dead in a while.
Other than the
Fear the Walking Dead.
Fear the Walking Dead stuff. Yeah. Scott Gimple, the showrunner for The Walking Dead, has teased a couple characters who Ron has no idea who the fuck they are.
That was a weird text I got.
he has teased, which if you have read the comic are infinitely familiar with, but if you haven't, they're just random names on a page. But he has teased, I won't spoil who they are, if they're good or bad, I will just say the names. He has teased Negan and Jesus.
I'm pretty sure at this point they all need some Jesus.
Very true. But he has teased Negan and...
It's about time Jesus fucking showed up. The dead has already risen. That's supposed to hearken his return.
Jesus done fucked up, dude. They are both coming down the pipeline and are going to be popping up and walking.
I'm still hung up on Jesus fucking up.
Oh god, our podcast.
Jesus fucked up when he allowed Lavalantula to exist.
We get so close, and you just... God damn it, Ron. So, I've been trying to finish the sentence for like 3 minutes now. Negan and Jesus are coming soon to The Walking Dead, which is fucking awesome if you have read the comic, because they are two of the best characters that come around in a long, long time. A couple of my personal favorites. I won't tell you who or what they do, but they are awesome characters, so you are in for a treat. And I like how I put in the notes in parentheses, Jeff geeks out.
Over Jesus.
Yes, Jeff for Jesus, hooray. And I think that's a wrap for the TV news, actually. We have a little bit of...
Now to bring everyone's spirits fucking down.
Oh god, this was rough to just read, dude. Since you have access to the article, I'm going to let you take away this one.
Oh my god. Okay, so... speaking of, like... living in the Walking Dead universe.
And needing Jesus.
Okay, so if you've heard anything about Konami lately, then you automatically know where I'm going, because this is one of the biggest things to hit since I know Kojima's departure from Konami. But on Kotaku, there's a very fitting logo, which I guess is probably at this point going to be Konami's new flagship logo.
Might as well be.
It might as well be. Let me explain why Hitler's face is being associated with Konami right now. Has anyone seen V for Vendetta? Or 1984? Or read the book 1984? Because this is... straight out of that. Like, this sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie.
This is dystopian science fiction shit, dude.
That is science fiction. That is so science fiction, your sphincter tightens. That is science sphincter. I like that. We need a segment called Science Sphincter. God, I'm fucking tired. If you hadn't sprang recording today on me, I probably would be well rested for this.
Like it matters.
I know.
We were recording at midnight, no matter what time I come over here.
Okay, so let's just get into it. I didn't read exactly how this news came to light, and in fact, has any of this been substantiated that we know of? Sort of.
These claims have come out, and it backs up previous claims. So people are starting to, in addition to how dickish they've been to Kojima, who the reason Konami, for the most part, is still a thing is because of Hideo Kojima.
And this is bad timing for this article to come out because everyone's already looking at Konami for Kojima leaving.
Yes. They've had the spotlight on them for a while.
So now that we've beat around the bush and danced around this article so much, apparently Konami is the worst fucking employer to work for. Okay, this article that I'm looking at, Kotaku has it laid out in bullet points. I'm just going to run through the fucking bullet points here.
This is all Konami employees claiming that this shit is occurring and has been occurring for a long time.
Yeah. So, okay, so the computers in here are not connected to any internet, and they're only able to send internal messages, which is bad enough.
Fucking Dark Ages, dude.
I'm telling you. Then employees leaving company offices during their lunch break are having their absences monitored with time cards. Those who stay out too long are having their names announced throughout the company, basically shaming them for taking longer lunches. Okay, then
and we also should point out how different their culture is compared to ours, that sentence right there could almost be taken as a joke in America.
Yes.
Not so much there.
Not in Japan.
No. So sorry to interrupt.
No. That's an excellent point. There's a big cultural difference between what we're reading that happens, in our culture versus Japanese culture. Here's the one that's very disturbing. Cameras in the office corridors that are not there for security. They monitor the movements of their own employees.
Yeah, in 1984 much.
Yes. Big Brother is always watching. Most Konami employees do not have their own permanent company email address. This is the one that was strange to me. Staff who must deal with people outside the company, such as sales or PR, do. However, everyone else is routinely randomized and changed every few months. Konami employee emails are typically a few letters followed by a string of numbers, but this random email changing has been going on for years at Konami. A while back, one Konami employee told the author of the article, this was done to prevent headhunting. Over the years, I've seen developers with company email addresses, but this might have changed recently. So I guess a little bit of a disclaimer there, because that whole section was in parentheses. But yeah, so just to make sure you're not fucking using your work email address for anything other than work, they're randomizing your fucking email address. Here's one that this is really dystopian future type
science
sci-fi.
fiction.
Science fiction. Konami game developers who aren't seen as useful, which again, in Japanese culture, you tell someone they're not fucking useful, that is already like dagger through the soul. They're reassigned to jobs as security guards or cleaning staff at the company's fitness clubs, or roles at the
No idea.
I don't know, slot machine factory. This includes not just junior staff, but producers who have worked on well-known game titles. In 2013, there was an interview with a former Konami staffer who allegedly went from game development to working on at the slot machine factory, and which caused him severe depression, which you could imagine. That's not exactly the type of games you go in to develop when you become a game developer.
Dude, this sounds like a fucking episode of Black Mirror. Like, it's exactly
really
what
does.
it sounds like.
That one former employee, upon announcing on Facebook that they were leaving Konami and had got a new job elsewhere, had their post monitored. The remaining Konami staff who liked the post were all reshuffled within the company.
To the slot machine factory. Or cleaning the fitness club.
Yeah, you can
That
only
is
assume.
Freaking insane, dude.
What the actual fuck?
To get demoted because of a Facebook like Jesus.
Really? And this isn't like, Walking Dead Jesus. This is what the fuck? Someone, I cannot imagine. I mean, like you said, more and more, this is like turning into the Bill Cosby thing. More and more people are substantiating these claims.
We should probably give some credit. What website was this?
This is Kotaku.
This is Kotaku, and we should credit the writer of the article too, since we pulled a lot of direct quotes from him.
Brian Ashcraft.
Okay. Now, if a third of this, which is being, I think, completely fair.
His Twitter is also at Brian_Ashcraft.
If a third of this, even a third of all of this is true, I will not support this company anymore.
Yeah, seriously, this is just getting so many violations of just human rights in general, and just being downright creepy with it, like monitoring them on their Facebook likes and comments, and monitoring them literally with the cameras. Yeah,
which they're telling them that's not for security purposes. That's so we can watch you.
What the actual fuck?
And this is on what adds more clout to this and really hurts them, like you were saying, this is on the heels of all of this Hideo Kojima stuff, is when you hear, and they can't disprove that they have removed his name from the cover of all of the games he made 20 whatever years ago.
Yeah.
Why would you have any reason not to believe they're crazy assholes?
Seriously.
So if even a third of it is true, I will not. If I want to buy any of their games, I am waiting till it's as cheap as humanly possible, because I refuse to support this company.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. I just seriously, my mind just keeps jumping back to 1984. I mean,
this article probably made my jaw drop the first time I read it. Just to read this crap, and then,
like, that is fucking creepy in American culture, dude. Again, Japanese culture, like the fact that you don't feel like you can trust someone, or you know that you in any way imply that they're not honorable or anything like that. And I'm not talking stereotypical, you know, honorable. I'm going to follow my sword because you know I fucking stepped on your toe.
They're very prideful people.
Very, very prideful people. So this invasion of privacy or anything, and I get at work, you know, you don't have the same level of privacy you expect at home or anything, but to fucking basically more or less follow you around with a fucking camera and publicly shame you for taking a long lunch. And I mean, what the hell?
And the probably the nail in the coffin for them is the Facebook like thing. They have, okay, if you are, let's take it kind of like a different allegory. If you are an NFL player and you get on Twitter and you start making a lot of racist comments, that's one thing. For liking a post, you got demoted? Really?
Yeah.
Jesus, dude.
Yeah. I mean, just, I don't know. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, it's just stunning. And I know what to say. Fuck you, Konami. I'm not buying your games anymore. And good on you, Kojima, for getting the fuck away from these people.
See,
and I hope all of these poor souls who are still working there manage to get away from them.
Yeah.
Maybe this getting public.
I like all their Facebook posts.
Maybe this getting public. At this point, fuck them.
Yeah.
You know, I hope heads roll because of this.
Dude. This sheds even more light. Like, it makes you wonder, because it being Japanese culture, we're probably never going to know what happened between Konami and Kojima.
Unfortunately.
But after hearing this, it's like, what do we not know that Kojima knows? Like, what was it that made him decide to finally leave after how long he's been working with them now? I mean, if all this was fucking, I mean, did they tap his house? Is there fucking hidden cameras in Kojima's house?
If just like I said before, if a third of this is true, there is no freaking telling what they did to Kojima.
Yeah. You know, I mean, it's probably something as simple as the font size of his name on the back of the box, but we'll never know.
We'll never know. It's unfortunate. Probably what's going to happen?
It's just weird, the timing of everything that has happened between Konami and Kojima, and then this. There's been a few other news articles that have been nothing near this. Reading this, I fucking forgot everything else I know about Konami.
It's going to be, if we hear anything, it's going to be 10 to 15 years before we hear anything at all. And that's going to be from one person, probably.
And by then, you're going to be like, what the fuck is a Konami? Because if shit like this keeps coming out,
yeah,
I mean,
if they're not wanting to make that Silent Hills game, which everyone wants to play, it's like I guess they don't want money.
Yeah,
and it's already looking kind of like the end for them.
Yeah,
because they were already not doing too hot. And imagine that when you don't want to make any games with your main dude, you know?
Yeah, and then wanting to switch to, they're not switching entirely to mobile gaming, but they want to switch their focus to mostly mobile gaming.
Who knows? It's just what it is. It's
microtransactions.
It's disgraceful, and I really, really hope these people are able to get away from that horrible situation.
I really, really do, because, God, it makes you wonder, like, are they the sweatshop of video games? Like,
I mean, even
that sounds like someone with is like walking up and down like aisles of programmers with a fucking like flog in their hand or something, you know.
And what's rough too is even the companies who aren't running their shit like 1984 have grueling conditions for these QA and programmers, because they always have these huge crunch times, you know, before the game's released, where some of those people are asleep under their desk on the weekend, you know, trying to get their stuff done. So if it's already grueling enough for the companies who do treat their employees as, you know, humanely as they can, for this shit to be going on in addition to those hours they're doing, it's just horrible.
I mean, it's definitely a stark contrast from, like, say, Google, where there's like an entire floor that's all arcade and
ping pong tables,
and pool tables, and
Yeah, I'm fascinated too. Whenever we do learn more about this, I'm really fascinated to learn like the details of what's been going on because,
like I said, this is still really early reports, but like you said, more and more stuff, and this is definitely in line with everything. This is really like V for Vendetta shit.
I can't wrap my mind around
this
it.
whole time. I always thought that was based on the graphic novel. It's based on fucking working at Konami, dude.
It's based on Metal Gear.
Kojima was the man in the mask with the daggers.
He was V.
He was V.
All right, we're going to segue back to some hopefully more lighthearted video game news, and that's the next one is that the Xbox One will be able to stream to PC, and you actually had more details on this than I did, so what did you find out about this?
It wasn't necessarily when I found out, because that was something that we already kind of knew was going to be happening with Windows 10. And the Xbone being able to stream to your PC and act as, like, you can't do 2-player, but you can do single player, and it'll stream all the audio, video, and everything to your PC. So if someone's using the room, or using like the TV in the room that your Xbox is in, or you have your laptop and someone's wanting to watch TV and your laptop's in, and you're in the same room, you can still play. But what was interesting was that about the article that I sent you, and the reason I sent it to you was that article brought up a very interesting point that I hadn't considered. Steambox is still trying to gain traction, and the big draw on it is that you can stream to and from your computer. You know, your Steam collection that's on your computer to your Steambox, your Steambox to your computer. And that's trying to gain traction, has no market share hardly has any units out there to even purchase at the moment. And that's trying to gain traction. Well, fucking the one of the two biggest titans in video gaming now does the same fucking thing. So, I mean, what does that spell for Steam?
Even before this was
not Steam, but Valve.
Even before
Steam
this
box
was even a thing, I didn't understand what they were going for. Even if this hadn't happened, I still don't think they would have been successful with that thing, because I still couldn't even tell you the purpose of it, really. I mean, that thing's cool, but if you're going to tell me, am I going to go pay $800 for their Steam box for a computer that is stripped without all of the essential computer components other than gaming, or I can go pay $399 for a PS4.
The Steam box is a real life, like, tangible epitome of the word irony, because the goal of it is to get PC gamers on a console, and hardcore PC gamers say fuck consoles on all levels. So I don't know. It is really just one giant question mark as to what the fuck are you supposed to do with this. Now, and another goal that it had was to get console gamers into PC games, but in a world where, you know, Sony and Microsoft, who fucking hate each other, can still come together and basically build a PC in a box so you can port games to PC, Xbox, or PlayStation and make it easy to do that. Do you even really need to own both consoles anymore, or do you really need to go try to get the PC gamers onto a console, the console gamers onto a PC?
What's kind of dumb to me is you're saying, like, they were trying to bring over some console gamers to PC. In my opinion,
put an awesome game on PC.
I am maybe make Batman work. Maybe that'll help. In my opinion on it,
stop fucking limiting all the graphics, Ubisoft. You know,
yeah, it's always something.
It's something.
My opinion on it is that the biggest thing they have going for them is something they already do, and that is the fact that, like the other day, you got a text. This game was for sale on Steam.
Yes.
That's what you have going for you. Instead of using money to develop these question mark, we don't even really know why they exist, Steam boxes, do more Steam sales.
Yeah.
To me, that's the biggest draw they have. Is because
I don't know about more, as it seems like they have one every week.
Well, I mean, make them even, you know, a bigger percentage off.
Yeah.
To me, that's their biggest draw, is being able to get them cheaper on sales.
I mean, really, their delivery system has a lot going for them, because one of the biggest things that Xbox and PlayStation have been battling is they're trying to get away from physical media. But console gamers are entrenched in physical media. A lot of console gamers.
Well, they were trying to get away from it with the Xbox One, and then that backfired miserably for them.
But they, console gamers like physical media. That's what they're used to, and it's really hard to look at a game in the glass case at Walmart or Target, and it's $60, and you have the physical media and the book and the box and all that, and it's the same price for digital download. It's just really difficult to get console gamers away from physical media.
There's a thing in your brain which tells you I'm being fucked over right now.
Yeah, and I mean, you're like, I'm paying money and I get to hold it. You know, that's something which...
It's almost like ingrained in your DNA.
Yeah.
And just the way that you
don't feel like you're getting a payoff.
Yeah, it's like even back to like freaking caveman days. Like, you know, there's some type of I give you a rock.
Back in the days of Vandal Savage,
I give you a rock. You give me something back in return. I feel like I have exchanged something, not just like you said, like you feel like you are giving way too much and not receiving anything in return.
Yeah. Whereas like Steam gets it in that respect because there was one weekend when Shadow of Mordor was $60 everywhere that it went down to like $25 or $30 because Steam gets it. There's no physical media. There's no shipping costs. There's no nothing. And yeah, the game was $60, but if you put it in your wish list and wait long enough and you have the app on your phone, you'll either get an email or if you have the app on your phone, you'll get the notification from the app, you know, whatever. Just wait for a Steam sale. You know how many memes are generated by Steam sales with empty wallets and everything because Steam just took everybody's money?
And like, not even just doing sales on like the AAA $60 games, but when you have a $20 game you're really wanting and you can get it for $4.99, that's a fantastic deal.
Yeah.
Like we were talking before, if you can get a game like, I'll throw one out that I've been looking at, Banner Saga, which is a 12-hour-ish, however long you want to play it for, RTS that is $19.99. If you're going to tell me I can pay $5 and get that 12-hour RTS game versus $7 for an hour-long Arkham Knight DLC, fuck off Arkham Knight. I'm going to get the 12-hour game. So, like you said, Steam gets it.
And then Arkham Knight comes in and just fucking blows your brains out.
Well, I love Arkham Knight, but I would rather have the 12-hour $5 game versus the 45-minute hour-long DLC.
Yeah, I'm very disappointed in that. But we've beat Arkham Knight to death over that. It's still not enough, but I'm not willing to devote any more time since we're already over. But yeah, no, it's just very, I don't know, it was just a very interesting article.
Smart, we should say, we've been focusing more on the Steam aspect of it. Smart for Xbox One.
Yes.
Ever since they got rid of, oh god, what's the name of the guy that went to, Don Matrick.
Yeah.
Once they got rid of Farmville fuck, it was like, oh, we have an offline console, and it's called the Xbox 360. Ever since they got rid of him, they have been making smart decisions. They dropped the price. They've been trying to add this feature to it. They've been making a lot smarter decisions than they had before that. So, good on them.
Well, the whole Microsoft business model is eventually they reach a point where they feel like they're making too much money. So they have to do something to turn people away.
And bring it back.
And then after a while, like, oh shit, we turned way too many people away. Now we got to do something awesome. Yeah. Just look at Windows. You go like XP to Vista to 7 to 8 to apparently 10 is awesome.
When you said 8, I just cringed and I just wanted to throw up.
It's not hit and miss. It's literally hit, miss, hit, miss, hit, miss. So
they're a very weird company.
It's very strange. I don't know. I don't know. That Microsoft's a whole other podcast.
Yeah, for the most part.
But yeah, so speaking of Arkham Knight, I guess not so much Arkham Knight itself, but Kevin Conroy, the Batman himself, has apparently expressed interest in wanting to do Batman in a Rocksteady Justice League game, which I find that interesting. Is that acknowledgement that game exists?
I don't think so, but I think it acknowledges the fact that it's a possibility.
Because that was the idea that I threw out that they could be going for next, now that they decided they're done with Arkham.
We talked about multiple times before, like that dual control thing is a good hint towards it.
Yeah,
So-
and then, everything was Superman that they did, and just because it's Superman doesn't mean they're doing Superman next, but Superman can be involved.
It kind of depends. Like, some people have said, Rocksteady is perfectly capable of, in their next game, making something totally different. They don't have to just be doing these DC superhero games.
Yeah.
But what I see is that they really love doing them. They took it very seriously in the fact that, like,
They created its own universe, really.
yeah, they not only did that, but they viewed it as, like they were calling it their trilogy.
Yeah.
It was like it was a story to them, not just a game they made money off of. So they seem to genuinely show interest in making them. They showed an interest in seeking out some more dual character control ideas and actually putting them into play.
Yeah.
So lots and lots of references to so many different characters in Arkham Knight that I think we at one point talked some of the Easter eggs when we were doing the review.
Yeah.
But shit, dude. If those Arkham games already made that much money, you do Justice League.
Imagine the character design in Justice League.
And it makes sense for them financially because what are we doing in the movies right now?
Exactly.
Building towards Justice League shit. So
Yeah, just ride the wave.
if you have a Rocksteady Justice League game out near the time that movie comes out, they're already licensed to print money. Licensed to print a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
Because those god-awful movie tie-in games make money just because it's a movie tie-in game.
Yeah.
If you have a Rocksteady caliber Justice League game that's good...
And as long as it's not on PC.
Yeah. It's... No telling.
You're at a loss for words.
No.
Just the idea of the awesomeness of this game.
Yeah.
This game that we don't even know exists.
Also, the thing we were talking about as far as doing a Superman game... I like Superman. That's a step back from Batman. Superman is not Batman.
Yeah.
Superman, I think, would work perfectly fine, and they can make a good game. But to me, that's not escalating for them.
Yeah.
That's, Superman is awesome.
Let's just do it again with Superman.
And Superman is one of the top 3 most recognizable characters on the planet. At the moment, he is not Batman level. Let's just look at the money Man of Steel made versus Batman. Look at the fact that before Man of Steel, they couldn't get anything off the ground that wasn't Batman.
Yeah.
It's just a simple fact. But yeah, if they make this shit, it was already a Rocksteady DC game. We were going to buy it. If it could be the Creeper, and we would buy it. But if it's Justice League, we are obviously all over that. So here's to hoping, you never know. Also, I love the fact, before we close it out, I love the fact that Kevin Conroy has been doing Batman for like 25 years and still loves doing Batman.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Fuck yeah, he is Batman at this point.
I just love that. A lot of the times when people do something like that for so long, they eventually get burned out. It seems like he will do that forever.
He
if he could.
genuinely enjoys it, and as long as he has the voice he's going to. Like Mark Hamill with the Joker. He genuinely loves it. He was sad that he was going to have to retire, and then he came back to do it. Now 2 more times. Arkham Knight was the one time since retirement he was going to do it, but since they announced Killing Joke, he's signed on, right? Didn't we report that?
He's
last
official,
time?
and Kevin Conroy wants to do it, so I'm assuming it's eventually going to be.
Sign him the fuck up the moment he says he wants to do it.
Anything Batman should be Kevin Conroy when available.
Yes.
For sure. All right, then. I think that's going to be a wrap to our podcast, though. So if you would like to follow us more, you can check us out on Twitter at TWBE Podcasts, on Facebook at facebook.com/TWBE Podcast. You can subscribe to us on YouTube at There Will Be Expletives. That's the name of the channel. Just search for us. You can find us. It's the thing with no views.
Yes.
It's hard to miss.
And what were we going to tell them what our plans were this weekend?
Yeah, you can tell them since you've been actually buying all the equipment.
We are looking into this weekend putting out our first Let's Play. So,
no clue on what game we're doing at this moment, right? We haven't figured that out yet.
We haven't figured that out yet. We've got a couple that we could do that we bought. We never did. We never did Freddy's 3 or 4. That would be a decent one, especially with Freddy's 4 being high in the news and just releasing.
Maybe we might want to try maybe the first game not having video, though. That one we have to do video. So it kind of depends on what we want to do. Yeah, but we have them coming down the pipeline.
You might actually see us for once.
Oh, God. We might as well shut down the channel. They don't want to listen to us. They sure as shit don't want to look at us while we talk.
That means I have to put on pants.
Wait. Now I don't want to do this podcast anymore.
So, yeah, no, be looking forward for the announcement on Twitter that you should already be following. And if you're subscribed on YouTube, like I said, we're looking at sometime this weekend, putting that out. Hopefully this podcast gets out before the weekend.
Yeah, that
unlike last time.
That was awkward.
But, alright, well, thanks for listening.
And Ron has to go watch Shark Post again, so we gotta go.
Favorite movie.
Shared universe, bro.